This presentation focuses on the grade 5 and 6 learning area as a community within Princess Hill Primary School. Based on our observations, we have drawn from scholarly articles and research to understand the connections between the school's pedagogical theories and how their use of space complements such theories.
Princess Hill Primary School has turned traditional ideas of grade level classrooms upside down by creating open neighbourhoods and grouping composite grades into one space together. Principal at Princess Hill, Esme Capp, states that by approaching teaching and learning this way, the school is creating a community of learners, a community of practice, and a community of researchers. Therefore, Princess Hill have taken a holistic approach by developing neighbourhood environments that closely reflect the social situation concept. FLIR believes that children act as mentors and inspiration to younger learners within this concept.
In the 5-6 area, the teachers set up the classroom to promote collaboration and social learning, emphasising the importance of physical elements of the learning spaces. McGregor elaborates that there is a need for classrooms to have desirable designs, friendly entrances, and private places for students to learn in that can also be supervised. This was seen in the 5 and 6 learning area, where segregated classroom areas were structured to include round tables, booth seats, couches, and other innovative furniture in an attempt to promote collaborative learning.
Architect and designer of Princess Hill Primary, Mary Featherstone, considered these underlying factors when she designed the neighbourhoods at the school. During a conference at Princess Hill Primary in front of teachers, parents and researchers, Mary Featherstone states that there are 3 conceptual layers to a physical environment. The first being the building layout and space, the second layer referring to the transitory layer that teachers, students and parents bring in and what examples this sense of community within a neighbourhood. The third and final layer reflects the pedagogical practices that occur within a learning environment and how teachers and students make use of these learning tools. The modular displays in each classroom are part of this third layer, as teachers have the ability to change and control what is presented in their own neighbourhood. Featherstone also details the importance of intangible characteristics and how they influence the learning space. For example, the movable chairs and furniture within each classroom and how they enhance the versatility for pedagogical practice. Teachers therefore have more control over the real form, as they are able to change the learning space to best suit the diverse needs of students.
The 5-6 neighbourhood is developing as a strong community through meaningful and authentic collaboration as a result of classroom setup, and this collaboration enables the children to help shape the present and the future of their community. Learning communities are connected, cooperative and supportive. We've noticed a strong values and belief in Princess Hill's community of practice, as each neighbourhood display a unique set of values that reflect student experiences and the role they play as independent learners. We as educators must recognise this as an active process.
Princess Hill Primary School really promotes the value of respect within the 5-6 learning community, with the teachers aiming to instill this value in order to develop a democratic community of learners and researchers. This is achieved through the building of rich relationships that allow students to discover their own identity in a place where they want to be and want to learn. Children also learn through relationships with people, places and things. Ministry of Education 1996, as they believe a positive relationship can provide a school community with a sense of belonging as children and their families know they have a place. Page 15.
According to FLIR, classroom communities have a great impact on the development of the children in the school. The atmosphere of the community, the way in which the space is arranged, the relationships within the community and the way the children interact with each other, their teachers and the space all have an influence on the cultural development of the child.
As expressed by FLIR, it is therefore essential that teachers create an environment that reflects what Australian society values, and can therefore assist with children's future development. FLIR states that family and societal values and needs frame what a child pays attention to, what they experience, and how they appropriate and use the cultural tools of their community, which can change how a child engages with their world. This has been taken into account at Princess Hill Primary School, where the teaching staff strongly promote their school values, protocols and rights and responsibilities through verbal discussions and visual displays. The educators at this school aim to instill these values and ways of thinking within the neighbourhood environments so that the children will in future reflect these values in their own actions within society. Vygotsky's 1994 work elaborates on this theory, as he explains that, for the environment to be the source of a child's development, then what is to be developed must already exist in the child's environment. Children therefore need to be in an environment that is rich in culture and highly promotes the morals and values specific to society, so the children can develop in a way which is valued and needed to successfully interact, also stated by Vygotsky. By having the ideal form visibly present through the use of posters in the 5-6 neighbourhood at Princess Hill Primary School, the children are shaped to develop in a way that aligns with the expectations of both the school and society. Vygotsky developed the concept of leading activities, such as school in this scenario, which are a part of particular periods and phases of a child's life and ultimately lead to character development. As stated by Fleer, each of these periods, such as early adolescence, contain a motivational element that represents a unique characteristic of a person's life.
Fleer further explains that a child's rate and type of development is therefore relative to their environment and dependent on the child's motivational orientation. Princess Hill Primary School students possess strong motives of both formal learning and play, which have occurred as a result of pedagogy and classroom orientation. The learning agreements, level of student responsibility for individual learning, and variety of learning spaces confirms that the 5-6 neighbourhood encourages freedom of learning and play while directing children towards formal learning experiences.
Motivations and cultural development of students have therefore resulted from the class environment, and ultimately the teaching staff, which is further reinforced by Fleer's belief that a young child's intentions and motives are influenced by what the adults in their lives value and orient the child towards. Fleer also describes child development as a result of how others around the child treat the child in their social relationships. The expectations held for a child in relation to the child's growing competencies and motives for doing different things is said by Fleer to really impact child development. This can be seen within Princess Hill Primary School, as the children have been shaped according to what the teachers and parents expect of them. The adults are providing children with more freedom in their learning, as seen through their inquiry work and learning agreements, so the children are expected to act more independently in this school. We definitely witnessed this during our experience at the school, as the students appeared responsible and organised instead of merely enjoying their free time. According to Vygotsky, the term Perezovani refers to the unity between the child and their engagement with their social and material environment. We can identify this concept within each neighbourhood at Princess Hill Primary School and how it can also relate to Mary Featherston's 3 transitional layers that students and teachers bring into a classroom.
The Wall of Change is a creative space where students of the 5-6 neighbourhood can stick their ideas and opinions and express themselves freely without being questioned. This plays on the idea of children having a voice and feeling as if their opinions are contributing to making a better society. It's a concept that shows us just how Princess Hill are nurturing students' Perezovani in more ways than one. Rogoff refers to this theoretical concept in Learning Together, as she believes children do not know the world, but they have all the tools they need to know it, and they want to know it. Within this relationship with the world, children come to know it and to know themselves.
Princess Hill Primary is greatly committed to reinforcing their own pedagogical practices as we see this evolve from learning agreements, inquiry-based workshops, and how students have the ability to negotiate specific learning outcomes. Arguably, one of the most largest parts of this is the teaching styles that are incorporated into the school curriculum.
In the 5-6 areas, the children's learning is based around their learning agreements, which are one of the school's innovative learning methods and allow the students to take control of their own learning with less control from the teachers.
The open plan layout of the neighbourhoods in the school also contributes to the notion of children guiding their own learning in a manner that suits them. Iris Dunn reinforces this through her statement that such spaces coexist with pedagogies that are increasingly fluid and learner-centred to enable learners to experiment with modulating the self as a form of self-governance. The teacher and learning styles at Princess Hill Primary are based around self-learning. Therefore, their main focus questions when a child is completing a task is, what are you doing and why are you doing it? This allows the child to explain their reasoning behind their learning and shows that they can draw on the concepts that they have been learning about.
The use of technology at Princess Hill Primary, particularly within the grade 5-6 community, enables and encourages students to indulge in various scholastic methods. Technology also assists to construct the envisioned independent learners evident within the school's pedagogical objectives. The Grade 5-6 students also use technology to inform the community by participating in a supervised program, which involves a small group of students going out into the local community to teach the elderly and underprivileged how to use technology. This also relates to a global pedagogy of place, in that the students discovered links between their own school and the wider community, which offers potential for critical engagement across the local global divide. The Grade 5-6 community also embraced various guidelines in regards to technology. Signs were apparent on the doors of particular rooms that read either MacBook Free Zone or MacBook Zone. Dunn discusses the significance of flows, intensities, events, and movements that give a place its qualities or properties, and argues that such qualities potentially produce a creative opening for critical engagement with new forces and forms of control. Therefore, the separation between zones may in fact encourage different elements of creativity or critical engagement by students, simply by allowing for different influences.
The use of technology within the Grade 5-6 neighbourhood has allowed the students to create relationships with students from Hong Kong and China. This therefore increases the students' social and communication skills. Not only has the social formation of these young adolescents fallen through school, but the students' home life has had a powerful influence on their inquiry-based learning. Within the Grade 5 and 6 learning area, young adolescent personality is formed by social interactions, particularly based on friendships with peers. This interaction has developed via student-adult relationships that reflect on the norms which help guide adult society.
Princess Hill Primary School strives off a positive culture of learning through collaborative interaction between students and teachers. One of their goals is learning through social interactions, including interpersonal relations and engagement with human-developed media and mediums. At first glimpse of the Years 5 and 6 learning areas, we were immediately drawn to the classroom setup and different learning spaces. Subsequently, teachers can create a learning environment that maximises the learner's ability to interact with one another through discussion, collaboration and feedback.
While students work collaboratively, Vygotsky believes that teachers use cooperative learning exercises where less competent students are able to develop their learning ability from more skillful peers, which is known as the zone of proximal development. Vygotsky elaborates that a collaborative interaction with peers as an effective way of developing skills and strategies, and expresses that collaborative learning exercises are effective when less competent children have the opportunity to develop with help from more skillful peers within the zone of proximal development.
The Grade 5 and 6 learning area at Princess Hill Primary School has a strong focus on collaboration between students, which is reinforced by the setup of the neighbourhood, in particular the setup of the Orange Booth workspaces.
After interviewing Lucien, a Grade 5 student at Princess Hill Primary School, we discovered that students work more collaboratively when learning face-to-face in the booths. When analysing this particular arrangement for learning, we learnt that the high backs act as barriers to block out other students' discussions, so learning isn't interrupted. Mary Featherston highlights this interior feature by stating that eye contact is the key in a collaborative learning environment, especially when trying to position learners so teachers can facilitate the learning that takes place. The idea is to provide intimate and more informal settings where students feel comfortable.
Through our observations, the Grade 5-6 community at Princess Hill Primary School has shown innovative learning methods through their relationships with their learning environment and community, and the relationship between the teachers and students. The way in which they learn clearly relates to the pedagogical theories we have learnt about in this unit, particularly of Vygotsky, Dunn, Bandura, Fleer and Rogoff. The pedagogical theories that support learning in the Grade 5-6 learning area are clearly linked to the space through the neighbourhood design, sense of community, environment and use of technology.